Well, hello traders and welcome to another market recap. This is Ankit from Maverick Currencies and let's begin our market coverage for today, Monday, April the 17th. Let's see how the market moves overall and take a look at the market analysis and talk about our upcoming 24 hours here. So starting with the market performance today was a nice little reversal towards the second half of the day. So we are still noticing markets being buying the dips, which is again keeping up with that bullish momentum. So overall, no reason to be bearish in these markets. We are seeing volatility hitting new lows, and the market continues to kind of recover. So overall, the risk on sentiments remains the same. World Stock Index doing the exact same thing. Mild positive day, but most of the gains came in the second half of the day. Where we saw some weakness was in the outperformance. We saw crypto that has been outperforming. Did pull back. We did notice the pullback in the gold market and also pullback in oil. So all these three areas, they were actually doing much better last week. So we're just seeing some profit taking or some pullback in between. So let's take a look at charts. So markets are still plowing higher. We have a key resistance level that we're sitting at about 4180. So the question is, can we break out this week or are we expected to see some range bound price action? So right now, like I said, markets are bullish and any sort of pullbacks are being reversed. So there's a good chance that we continue to see this price action for the upcoming few days ahead. And again, same thing is expected in the World Stock Index, a little bit more weaker compared to the U.S. markets. But I mean, once we clear this area of that resistance, there will be definitely more explosive move to the upside. And now lastly, the crypto markets. We did notice a pullback today, but notice that we cleared a massive resistance level right here. And we are expected to see some pullbacks, and those pullbacks should be presenting some buying opportunities as long as the trend continues on. So again, so far, nothing out of the ordinary. We expect pullbacks in between, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Now, let's take a look at daily performance. And again, some negative performance across the board. Bitcoin has been the best performer and now being the worst performer today. So again, these are just small movements. In the shorter term, if you are long, this is the time to maybe take some profits. And if you're looking for an entry, then we need to see velocity sort of pick up a little bit to the upside in order to jump back in. But so far, let the pullback continues and then look for better entry points. Now, let's talk about currency markets. So we continue to see the US dollar being the best performer. So Friday, we got a nice reversal in the US dollar and an extension today. So we'll take a look at some of the dollar crosses and see if this is just a sell the rip opportunity or is this something different here. What we are noticing is some of the better performers taking a bit of a pullback. Swiss franc and euro, they actually done really well. And so far today, we're actually mildly weak. Now, the performance that is actually holding up is in the Canadian dollar. Another chart to pay attention to because we are consolidating at a key resistance level. Now, talking about Aussie and Kiwi, clearly Aussie is outperforming the Kiwi. So if you look at this currency pair, we have a nice bullish movement taking place. But overall, Kiwi remains a bearish contender. So if I have to go long, it has to be the Aussie compared to the Kiwi. Outside of that, notice the divergence between dollar and yen. So dollar and yen is now quickly approaching that 135 mark. So overall, is there a breakout opportunity coming in that currency cross? We have to kind of pay attention to that as well. So there's definitely things moving. It's just being in the right place at the right time using the right strategy. So the equity market outlook remains a +2. Like I said, if we're seeing a pullback, that's okay. But again, those pullbacks should be a good buying opportunity. Now, looking at the schedule for next 24 hours, we have the Canadian CPI tomorrow, and this is one that I'm actually paying attention to. Remember, CPI numbers are still important to watch, even though we are seeing a continuous decline in these numbers. But again, we should always be prepared for any sort of surprises if there's any. So we are expecting month over month to be inching higher a little bit in the Canada. So the Canadian dollar, again, is firming up ahead of this event. So if there is a breakout opportunity, I think that would be tomorrow off of this news event. So we're expecting either a breakout or a reversal off that key resistance level for the Canadian dollar. So that will be the first one I'll be paying close attention to. But outside of that, we'll just continue to see the recovery theme that we saw in the second half of the day that will continue in the market. So let's do a quick currency analysis and take a look at velocity scores. So velocity scores, again, dollar and CAD staying at +2. The question is CAD working independently with the US dollar? And we talked about it in the currency room that we are seeing a divergence taking place. So I still like CAD over the dollar, but in the shorter term, dollar is strong, which means that if you're looking to sell the rally, you need to see the velocity score weaken a little bit. But right now, it's staying on the stronger side. Now, the Kiwi is the clear loser across the board. I do like this on the downside. So every rally is a good opportunity to sell. Now, Swiss franc and euro, is this a reversal sign? Is it a pullback? I mean, so far right now, it's just a short-term pullback. Pound stays steady, and then Aussie is definitely doing better, especially considering the outperformance. We're just getting some pullbacks in there. So let's talk about some stronger scorings here. Japanese yen down -2. And we have the dollar +2. And same thing as CAD +2 and a yen -2. So these are the pairings that we will be paying close attention to. I think we can see some sort of further continuation of that pullback in euro and Swiss franc till we can find a good sort of reversal or buying opportunity. So let's take a look at possible trades ahead and talk about the upcoming 24 hours. So looking at the charts here, the first question that I had received all day today was the outlook for euro dollar. Is this a pullback? This is buying the dip opportunity. So one thing I do want to point out is in the euro dollar is that we are showing some sort of a double top sign here. So we are falling back below the resistance. So at this point, I don't really love the buy the euro dollar right now. I think it has pulled back quite aggressively. So I don't really love the long here unless we start to see the dollar start to weaken further. I mean, but right now, let's take a look at the dollar basket. And the dollar basket has firmed up, reversing some of the losses that we've seen. So as you can see that the dollar really hasn't gone anywhere for the past few weeks. But in between, there has been some nice opportunities to the upside and to the downside. So I would say that I'm looking at this is a trending score of a 0, which means that it's not really going anywhere. And we need to really pay attention to the velocity. Right now, you can see that we got a nice reversal here. Basing pattern here, another breakout, and now we're just getting a pullback. So this is again showing not reversal signs yet, but on the daily chart it is hitting that resistance. So I think this is next couple of days could be a little choppy, and then eventually we'll break out one way or the other. But one chart I do want to point out is the DXY, because this is where if you take a look at DXY, I mean this look like it's a double bottom here, and this could be. I mean, we don't want to rule out what's going out here. I mean, we have bounced right off that support level, so I do like the dollar short if we can go back below that 101 level. But right now, in the short term, we could see some sort of potential opportunity here for this to make a recovery if there's a continuation in the US dollar. But right now, it's below this 20-day moving average and has been trending below this 20-day moving average for almost a month now. So watch out for this one if you're trying to figure out where is the dollar going. But let's talk about other currency pairs. Yen is now hitting the bottom end of this range here. So notice that. Let's go scroll out over here. This is a very important level of support. We kind of reversed very nicely back in February and March, and here we are back again. I mean, we can see that we have this 200 moving average sitting right here. So the question is, do we have enough to really pierce it back below and then maybe hit these lows over here? Again, for that, we need a confirmation to break below the support. So we are very close to that support level, which means I need a confirmation for a breakout before I can jump in on that premise. But for now, yen looks weak across the board. I mean, this is the 4-hour chart, continues to trend lower. Hourly chart continues to trend lower. 15-minute chart, it continues to trend lower. So overall, this is a clear short across the board. I would love to jump in on a bear rally or base. But again, around those key resistance and support areas, we just need to be a little extra careful. Now, looking at the euro, we can see that we're just getting a pullback on euro. For the short term, we're just seeing some profit taking. I think this can go sideways for a little bit before we can recover. So I'm going to put this on the sideline for the upcoming 24 hours here. Now, Swiss franc actually gave below this 20-day moving average. So, I mean, Swiss franc is another currency pair, has done really well. I mean, hitting new highs here. So in the short term, like I said, I think this can pull back a little bit further. It actually closed at the lows of the day. I would expect this to kind of come down a little bit down towards this prior breakout point, which is now the support. So let's put the Swiss franc on the back burner as well. I don't really love this as a short, but I don't really love this as a buy at this moment. I think it looks pretty much extended to me here. Now the British pound, it's just coming back to the support level. This is the one pair that we discussed in the currency room that we might be looking into buying here. And do I have any sort of signs right now? I don't. I mean, look at the 4-hour chart. We are below the 20 to 50 to moving average. So I want this to get above this area in order to get back into the British pound here. So let's talk about other currencies that are actually looking much decent here. Canadian dollar. Let me look at that Canadian dollar. Let's start with the daily chart. And daily chart is at a key resistance level. So if you look at this resistance level here, you would say, well, I think this is topping out right now. And in this case, if we are topping out of this area, then we need to have strong reversal signs, and it will show that it's going to be heading lower. But if we look into the 4-hour chart, all we are noticing is that it's just making a consolidation, a tight high base pattern here, which means that there's a better chance for this to attempt a breakout as it's gathering energy at this level. So we don't have a reversal signs yet. I actually do like CAD on a breakout opportunity, but maybe I'll wait till tomorrow for the CPI numbers to come out. So CAD looks really good here. Aussie recovering a little bit here. Again, Aussie and Kiwi has not been on the top of the list here for us to trade. But in the short term, there's definitely some opportunities, but you got to keep that in mind that this is not a pair to jump on for a multi-day trade. I think these are good short-term opportunities. You get in and you get out, and that's pretty much it. On the other hand, Kiwi looks like a better short to me, so this is why I would rather look at Kiwi short or even look at Aussie Kiwi pairing as well, because there is that divergence. And I remember we talked about how big of a rally that we saw last quarter or last year in this Kiwi currency. So we are just seeing unraveling of that. But any sort of bear rallies that happen, I think will be good shorting opportunities. Short term, do I like a short here? I mean, I still like this as short, but I would rather jump in on some sort of bear rallies or a good strong basing pattern. So overall, let's take a look at CAD crosses, see which one we can pair with. So let's just talk about dollar CAD. I mean, dollar CAD, you can see on a daily chart, I've talked about this in the currency room. We broke below this 200 moving average, and we just paused right at this bear rally here. So if I do want to take a look at dollar short position, then I think that has to be dollar CAD. On the other hand, if you take a look at dollar yen, it kind of looks like that dollar yen wants to break out higher, maybe get towards that 138 level. So let's look at the 4-hour chart on this. I mean, it looks pretty bullish to me here. So just gathering energy in the short term, which means that CAD remains a short and dollar remains a better on the long side. So in that case, let's take a look at what CAD yen is doing. Starting with CAD yen, you can see that this is getting ready for a breakout. We got a nice little pullback, maybe a little base setup here, and then it's ready to charge higher. And if this can get above this 156, that's the 160 area, this can easily break out. And as you can see, there's definitely good risk to reward opportunity on this one. The 200 moving average sitting at about 102. There's about 200 pips to be made on this currency pair on a confirmation for a breakout. So there's a strong resistance here. I would rather look for either a breakout confirmation if you're looking to enter beforehand. Not a bad idea to start half and then see where it goes. But again, this is a good breakout trade that I'm seeing in the CAD yen cross. We can also take a look at Canadian dollar. In the short term, you can see the Canadian dollar is outperforming, which means that Euro CAD is pulling back, and even CAD Swiss franc is sort of short-term reversal here as well. So a lot of the CAD crosses seems to be in this reversal mode. I've talked about Kiwi CAD, which again looks beautiful here. It fell down, making a little low base here. I would love to see some sort of bear rally or basing pattern to short into. So as we go into all these pairs, I do like the Canadian dollar crosses. So those are the ones I'll be paying close attention to. And as always, make sure you're paying attention to the market sentiment and make sure you're on the right side of the markets. If it's a risk-on environment or if it's a risk-on environment, make sure you're picking those pairs accordingly. I am looking to trade more around these events. So especially for the Canadian dollar, I'll be actively looking for an opportunity tomorrow and focus on velocity. Right now, we're getting a lot of burst of movement, and then market just doesn't go anywhere, which means that you have to be in that initial movement rather than the second stage entry. So always pay attention to the chart, to the calendar, and see where the opportunities are, and be active around those times. And as always, have a good profit position sizing. Again, it will be a mildly busy week this week, so we'll continue plowing this week. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll be sending out more updates. Take care.